Okay, picture this. It's late. Maybe you're tired, and then you hear that horrible click.
Oh,
Your
no.
door's locked, and your keys nowhere in sight.
That sinking feeling.
Or worse, the thought hits you, maybe they're gone for good.
Yeah.
Stolen.
Right. And your first thought is panic?
Total panic.
Right.
Then it's usually, I need a locksmith, like now.
And right there in that high-stress moment, that real urgency, well, that's often when people make mistakes. Quick decisions, you know?
Critical mistakes.
Yeah, critical ones in choosing who to call. And this can open you right up to crazy high pricing or shoddy work that actually makes your home less secure. Or it's rare but deeply troubling. You could accidentally give keys or security details to, well, criminals.
That is a terrifying thought. So our mission with this deep dive really is to give you a shortcut, a way to be properly informed even when you're stressed. We're going to walk you through 5 critical things you really must check when choosing a locksmith. This is all based on the research material we've gathered. The main goal, keep you safe, keep your property secure no matter how urgent it feels. So yeah, let's unpack this properly.
And it's important to say, look, the vast majority of locksmiths, they're honest, they're professional.
Right.
But, and this is the surprising part, there's actually no specific government regulation of the locksmith sector here in the UK.
Which is kind of wild when you think about it.
It is, and it means there are, unfortunately, some unscrupulous people out there operating without proper checks. So knowing these things, these checks we'll talk about, it's vital for homeowners, business owners too.
Preparation, basically.
Exactly. Being ready before disaster strikes.
Okay, so diving into our sources, one of the first things that immediately jumped out at me, and honestly it was quite surprising, is that the locksmith sector in the UK, it's not regulated by the British government.
Yeah, that catches a lot of people off guard.
It's a huge thing, isn't it? Because it means there's essentially nothing stopping unreliable providers, let's say, from just setting up shop and posing as legitimate businesses.
Exactly. And what's fascinating, or maybe necessary, is that without that government oversight, you see industry bodies stepping into the gap.
Self-policing almost.
Kind of, like the Master Locksmiths Association, the MLA, and also the British Safe and Belt Trade Association, the BSVTA.
Okay, BSVTA sounds specific.
Yeah, they focus more on high security safes, vaults, that sort of thing, as the name suggests. But the MLA, they really stand out as the main trade association for general locksmithing. They're the ones really trying to set the benchmark for the whole industry.
And when you say setting the benchmark, our material shows their standards are, well, they're not messing around. They're incredibly rigorous.
They really are.
To get in and stay in the MLA, a locksmith has to go through some serious vetting. It's not just filling out a form. It includes a disclosure and barring service check, a DBS check.
Which people might know as the old CRB check.
Exactly. Plus, they have to pass a whole series of exams set by the MLA.
Tough exams, too.
And then there are regular inspections, checking compliance, work quality. They have to stick to a strict code of conduct and even commit to ongoing training.
Yeah, it's a real commitment. It shows a level of professionalism.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier, this raises a key question, doesn't it? Legitimate members can display the MLA logo, sure. But how do you know it's real?
Right. Because we have seen, and it's concerning, cases where dodgy operators just slap that logo on their van or website falsely.
Trying to trick people.
Exactly. Misleading customers into thinking they meet those high standards when they absolutely don't. It's like a classic way to exploit trust.
That's a really crucial point. So just seeing the logo, it's not quite enough.
No, you need to check.
We need to be proactive, verify it. Otherwise, yeah, it could give a false sense of security.
Definitely.
But thankfully, this leads us to our first critical check, and it's actually pretty straightforward. You can verify if someone is really an MLA member directly on the MLA website. They have a tool, like a Find a Locksmith feature.
Right, you just put in your postcode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it lists the approved ones near you. That's your immediate, reliable first step. Check 1.
Good for stick.
So, okay, moving on from the association side of things, let's talk about the individual locksmith's qualifications.
Right.
That lack of official regulation, it does leave a bit of a gray area, doesn't it? If there's no government license to look for, how else can you tell if a locksmith actually, knows their stuff?
Well, in a field like this, looking for credentials and formal qualifications becomes even more important. It's not just a nice to have.
It's proof.
It's proof that someone has voluntarily put themselves forward for assessment, that they've actually learned the trade properly. Without that government standard, these voluntary certs, they become your main way to guard against someone just saying they're a pro.
Okay.
It shows they've invested time and money, that they try to stick to industry standards, and hopefully can do the job right.
And our source material actually gives some concrete examples of what to look for here. Things that show that kind of foundational knowledge.
Like what?
Like an MLA Level 4 certificate in general locksmithing skills.
Yeah.
Or maybe proof of an apprenticeship or training courses with known recognized providers.
Yeah, bro.
Any sort of tangible proof of relevant training, really.
Wow.
These aren't just bits of paper. They should represent real competence.
So don't be afraid to ask.
Exactly.
Right.
If your locksmith mentions these, ask to see the certificate. Maybe even note down the awarding body and check it later. It's absolutely your right to ask.
Good point. And that leads nicely into something else, doesn't it? Beyond the certificates.
Yeah.
What about just sheer time on the job? Experience.
Yes, the wisdom of experience.
Right. Because while certs show they learn the basics, maybe pass the tests, real-world experience, that's often irreplaceable. If a locksmith has managed to stay in business, survived and maybe even thrived for a long time in this industry,
It probably means something.
it usually means they've built up genuine expertise and reliability. They've likely seen all the tricky locks, the weird situations.
Problems you don't find in textbooks.
Exactly. And they've developed those problem-solving skills that only come with, well, time and practice.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, moving on. This next one, point number 3, feels very current, very relatable. Reviews.
The power of the crowd.
Totally. We check reviews for everything now, don't we? Restaurants, hotels, products. So it makes absolute sense that customer feedback is a solid way, often incredibly revealing, to gauge how trustworthy a locksmith is and the quality of your work.
And you're spot on there. When you're looking for reviews, though, it is so important to focus on the independent review sites.
You mean like Google?
Google, Trustpilot, Check-A-Trade, Yell, places like that. Because honestly, we've seen it countless times where some locksmiths just cherry-pick the best testimonials for their own website.
Or worse.
Or worse, they just make them up entirely. You need those unbiased, unedited opinions to get the real story. I've personally seen locksmiths with really slick websites, but then you dig into their independent reviews, and oops, there's a pattern. Late arrivals, prices suddenly jumping up.
It's like peeking behind the curtain.
It really is.
Exactly. And it's not just about the star rating, is it? You've got to actually read them.
Oh, absolutely. Dig into the details.
You want to look for, ideally, a decent number of reviews spread out over time that shows consistency, not just, a couple of good jobs. Look for specifics. Did they show up on time? Was the pricing transparent? Were they professional? Did they clean up? Any mention of aftercare.
Good points.
And here's a pro tip, I think. If you do find a negative review mixed in with lots of good ones, because nobody's perfect, right?
Great.
Look at how the locksmith responded. Were they defensive? Or were they professional, maybe empathetic, focused on actually trying to fix the customer's problem?
That response tells you a lot.
It tells you a huge amount about their attitude, their integrity, maybe even more than all the 5-star reviews.
Yeah, what this really boils down to, I think, is that reviews give you this incredible, often really detailed insight. Insight into professionalism, customer service, fairness on price, the actual quality of the work. It's genuinely the wisdom of the crowd. You get a collective view you just can't get anywhere else.
Okay, let's really dig into this next one, point 4. And this feels absolutely vital because we're talking about giving someone access to your most personal space.
Yeah.
Your home, maybe your business.
Right, high stakes.
We're talking about the DBS check, disclosure and barring service. This is basically a background check, isn't it? To see if someone has a criminal record.
That's exactly what it is. And it's fundamental for trust here.
Why so critical in this context?
Well, think about it. We are literally granting locksmiths access, sometimes when we're not even there. Or maybe we're feeling vulnerable after a break-in attempt.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly important, just common sense really, to ensure they don't have a history of, say, theft, burglary, or other relevant offenses that could completely undermine your security.
It's about establishing that basic trust, isn't it? With someone who's going to have intimate knowledge of your property's weak points, potentially.
Precise.
And this loops back really strongly to what we said earlier about regulation.
The lack of it.
Yeah. The lack of government oversight means locksmiths aren't legally required to get a DBS check just to operate. But remember the MLA connection?
Yes. The Master Locksmiths Association.
A DBS check is mandatory for MLA membership.
That's a huge benefit.
So if you choose an MLA-approved locksmith, that check, it's already done. That gives you significant peace of mind without you even having to ask. It's sort of a built-in safety feature of going with an accredited pro.
Definitely. But what if you're not going through an MLA member, or you can't find one nearby quickly?
Good question.
You can still be proactive. You should always ask to see your locksmith's current DBS certificate. Don't feel awkward about it.
Just ask directly.
Yes. And to be even more thorough, you could ask for the certificate reference number and then cross-check it online with the issuing body, the DBS service.
Ah, verification again.
Exactly. It might take an extra minute, maybe two, but honestly, that tiny bit of effort could prevent a whole world of trouble down the line.
And just a practical point here for clarity.
Yeah.
Most locksmiths, the ones who have checks, will usually have a standard DBS check.
Right.
Enhanced checks, they're typically for people working closely with vulnerable groups, kids, the elderly, not usually relevant for a locksmith.
Good clarification.
So, yeah, don't be concerned if they show you a standard check document. That's perfectly normal and sufficient for this kind of job.
Makes sense.
Okay, finally, point 5. Let's talk about what happens if things don't go perfectly. Let's talk insurance and guarantees.
The safety net.
Exactly. Because look, even the most skilled, most experienced locksmith can have an off day, right? Or run into an unexpected problem.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen, parts can sometimes fail.
They can. And this raises a really important question. If something does go wrong, are both you, the customer, and the locksmith protected? Especially in an unregulated market. It's just essential to work with locksmiths who actually stand behind their work. And they show that by offering clear guarantees.
It's about accountability.
It's about accountability, assurance, and, frankly, showing they have confidence in their own work and the parts they use.
Okay, so our sources highlight 3 crucial things to check here. What are they?
Let's break them down.
First, you need to ensure your locksmith has public liability insurance.
Why is that one so important?
Well, that covers accidental damage to your property.
Right.
Or, God forbid, injury to you or someone else while they're doing the job. Think about, I don't know, dropping a heavy tool on your floor or accidentally damaging the door frame.
Right. Protects you from those costs.
Exactly. Secondly, check if the locksmith offers guarantees on the parts they use. The locks, the mechanisms.
Because you don't want a cheap part failing a few months later.
Precisely. You want parts that are fit for purpose and backed up. And thirdly, get some assurance, preferably in writing, that the locksmith guarantees their actual workmanship.
For how long, typically?
Ideally for at least 12 months.
Yeah.
That shows they're confident in their skills and gives you a safety net if something related to their work goes wrong later on.
Okay, so insurance for accidents, guarantee for parts, guarantee for workmanship.
That's the trifecta.
Got it. And stepping back, looking at the bigger picture here, these checks, insurance, and guarantees, they basically protect you from unexpected financial hits if something goes wrong. And maybe just as importantly, they give you an invaluable peace of mind. It's about protecting your investment in your security and knowing you won't face surprise costs or vulnerabilities down the road.
Okay, wow. That was a lot of really vital information, wasn't it?
It was quite a deep dive.
Definitely. But hopefully we've laid it out in a way that gives you a really crystal clear understanding. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, now? Well, it means you've now got a powerful, actionable checklist, something concrete to use to protect yourself when that stressful moment hits. Because it probably will for most of us at some point. We've covered those 5 critical things to check. First, accreditations, especially looking for that MLA membership and verifying it.
Yep.
Second, their individual credentials and qualifications, asking for proof if needed. Third, what to look for in those independent customer reviews, digging deeper than the stars.
Crucial.
Fourth, the absolute non-negotiable importance of a DBS check for trust and safety.
Absolutely.
And finally, making sure they have the right insurance and offer guarantees for both parts and their own workmanship.
That's the list. And following that checklist, doing those quick checks diligently, it will significantly protect you. Protect you from shoddy parts, from accident property damage, and importantly, from future security problems caused by bad work.
Yeah.
And it's worth saying again, that lack of government regulation,
Yeah.
it really does mean there are people actively trying to exploit the situation. So being informed, using this checklist, it's genuinely your best defense against falling for one of those unreliable operators.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's maybe a final thought for you to chew on. Considering how easily we sometimes take our home security for granted, maybe, and how genuinely vulnerable we feel when it's compromised.
It's a horrible feeling.
How much more peace of mind is actually worth? Is it worth that extra 5, maybe 10 minutes it takes to quickly verify your locksmith using these checks?
Something to definitely think about.
Something to think about next time you, or maybe someone you know, faces that dreaded lockout.